On the Garfield table near Stapleton, Nebraska, behind an unpainted farmhouse, stood a shed made of recycled wood. Within this simple shed was another world, a world made from an array of everyday cast-off materials. In the 1950s, Emory Blagden began creating a unique environment within this shed to help people attain better health.
His mother died at a very young age from stomach cancer, and then his dad died as a result of surgery for lung cancer. Those things really did affect him deeply, and he wanted people to feel better. And in his own way, he really felt that the energy from the healing machine could help take away those aches and pains, just to help you feel better. He worked on the machine right up until the last 3 or 4 months of his life, and then the shop was locked and he didn't go back out again.
In 1986, two North Platte natives, Dan Dryden and Don Christensen, purchased the contents of the shed at Emory's estate auction. For 18 years, Dryden and Christensen promoted and cared for Emory's work. Then in 2004, they sold the bulk of the collection to the Kohler Foundation in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
The foundation was established in 1940, and the emphasis has always been the arts and education. Our expertise is in the area of preservation and conservation treatment. There are general truths that I think are prevalent with all self-taught artists, and that is they weren't trained in what materials to use, so they often present us with very difficult materials. Masking tape is a supreme challenge. The artist, of course, is learning as he's creating, and that grows and develops into something bigger and greater and better. Conservation is often a series of compromises and decisions that need to be made. Do you treat completely? Do you surface clean? And what our decision was to surface clean, to repair only as needed, that was an easy decision, because to leave the shed patina on would be to expose particularly the metal pieces to potential corrosion, and it in no way enhanced the art. That was plain old Nebraska dirt. To describe Emory Blagden's art, I think, is to talk about how many pieces there are and how difficult it is to take an environment, to dismember it, understand it, count it, photograph it, document it, and it's two completely different experiences. There's an intricacy, a delicacy, and then there's the largeness of it. When Emory Blagden's work was being conserved and it was uncrated and spread about, we had to call in a number of experts. If you noticed on some of the chandeliers, for instance, there were little glass vials, and Emory would go to Dan Dryden at the pharmacy and purchase elements. He would take elements from his pantry. Because this was going to be displayed in a public forum, all those materials needed to have chemical analysis, because we had to make sure there was nothing toxic.
It took up to 2 years of using modern museum conservation techniques to clean, analyze, and document every piece of Emory's masterpiece.
Not all self-taught art is created equal. Some is craft, some is hobby, and some, the end result, is truly art, and it's creativity at a higher level. But that said, it's all important. Some people might look at Emory Blagden's healing machine and say it's junk, because he repurposed found items and created them with his own inner spirit into something artistic and special. Might be junk to you, but it's somebody else's treasure. And when it comes to the art world, I think people view it as good quality, inspirational art.
Emory Blagden is known by art collectors and museum visitors as a man with boundless visionary creativity, an artist of great significance. Blagden's healing machine is considered great American art.
Never underestimate what can come from a tiny, tiny little town in Nebraska in the middle of a wheat or cornfield, because there's inspiration and creativity at all corners. And someone who does work like Emery Blagden creates a Nebraska treasure that's respected nationally and internationally, and it's really pretty special.